How's everybody today? I'm going to give you a real quick layout of what I do and how I do it best. I hold the world record for the most boards broken in a single minute. Anyone take a guess at what that might be? How many? 172. 172. A couple more than that. The world record for the most boards broken in a single minute is a little bit more. 487 boards. Wow. 1 minute, one hand. It's on YouTube. You can check it out. Before I jump into my presentation today, I always start with the top 3 questions. Number 1 is, does it hurt? Yes, it does. Number 2, have you ever broken any bones? And fortunately, that has not happened. Knock on wood. Number 3, why? There's a question to ask, why? Why would you do something like that? And I just want to share, I've been blessed. I've been blessed with the opportunity to really step into what the athletic world is all about at a pretty high level, and also what the business world is all about. I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. I opened up my first martial arts studio when I was 25, and for the past 20 years, I really feel that I've discovered a parallel there. A parallel there that, you know, what's an athlete all about and what's a business professional all about? You know, what are the lines that they live that really go right next to one another? You know, and that's really what I've come to find out. Now, to give you a little bit more detail on this, once I finished that world record took me 6 years to achieve from day one. Day one looked like this. I was teaching at my martial arts studio, and after I got out of class that Saturday afternoon, I went home, I sat down on the couch, fixed myself lunch, clicked on the TV, and ESPN was on, and all of a sudden, there's this guy breaking boards as fast as he possibly could. I don't know what happened at that moment, but for some reason or another, I said, I bet I could do that. You ever get that sense, like something's come across? I bet I could do that. I don't know why. Now, I had probably only broken 5 boards in my life, and I'm watching this guy smash boards as fast as he possibly could. At that point, I think the record was 300, 315. His name was Mike Reeves. He lives in Orlando, Florida. You know who I had to beat? Mike Reeves. He was the man I was after at that point. And I realized at that juncture, this is where my journey started. My journey started, again, in the professional field and how I could change the world around me professionally, and also from the standpoint of an athlete, and what it took to do that. So after that got done, it took me 4 tries. First time I didn't succeed. The second time was worse than the first. The third time I actually tied the world record. There was a dilemma right there. I wanted to be a world record holder, and now I found myself as a co-world record holder. Did I achieve what I had set out to do? Long story short, no. A year later, had the opportunity to do it again. That's when I broke the record, became a world record holder. Where'd I go from there? I said, there's something here. It took me 6 years of my life, but I started out with a concept, and I took it to fruition. I took it all the way to the goalpost. What did it take to happen? And how could I implement that into my business model? You know, how could I execute? How could I knew I was going to be going through highs. I knew I was going to be going through lows. How was it all going to happen? And I created a system. Created a system not only for myself, but for other individuals to realize it wasn't just what I wanted to achieve, but it was a journey. We are all on a journey. Each and every one of us wake up and we are on a journey. What's your journey? That's what I want individuals to be thinking about. Real quick, before I jump into a couple other things here, I created that system, and I'm going to be sharing it tomorrow. For 2 hours, we're going to be going through my system of what it took from concept to execution. But I want to say, 12 weeks ago, I took that and I tested it once again. It was 7 years ago, and I said, I need to see if this works. You know what? I put it together after this world record, and someone said, you know what, you need to go out to do another one. So guess what? I was like, I don't want to do that 1 minute world record board break again. Let's pick it up a notch. Well, if you were in New York City in Times Square 12 weeks ago, you would have found me there in the center of Times Square performing once again. Not for a minute, but for a day. 24 hours. They brought in a tractor trailer that was fully loaded with boards. Over 12,000 boards to be exact. And they gave me a day to do it. A day to break 12,000 boards. Stationed me right down at the bottom of Ripley's, believe it or not, in Times Square. For 24 hours, I got up each and every hour and did nothing but smash boards 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m., 12 p.m., 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m. Think about where you'll be tomorrow at this time. I would have still been breaking boards then if I started right now. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock. When I hit 4 o'clock in the morning after 21 hours, I thought to myself, I've got 3 more hours to go of this. But I'm happy to say after those 24 hours, I successfully completed another world record event in which I broke 12,120 boards in 24 hours. Thank you. Not to set another world record, but to test the model that I brought together. So what did I walk away with? What I walked away with was trying, really figuring out what's the difference. What's the difference between what takes place on the athletic field to what takes place in the professional field? We both play in arenas. Athletes play in arenas. As professionals, we play in arenas. What's the difference? I'm going to give you one word that's the difference. It's embracing performance. It's all about how we choose to look at performance. And I don't mean from a physical standpoint, I mean from a mental standpoint. How do we choose to look at things? How do we choose to take things on? And how do we choose to execute? When you talk to an athlete and you talk performance, you see them get adrenalized. You see them ready for what they're about to do. And I've found so many times, whether it's with my staff or other individuals that I've worked with, when you throw out that word performance or becoming competitive in what you do, I see a level of anxiety, a challenge. It's one of the biggest things that creates that level of anxiety is being measured by others. I often get asked, why did you want to do this world record break in Times Square? Why did you want this? Why did you want that? There was nowhere to hide. I realized this, performing as a world record athlete, when you go out and you make a commitment to do something, if you tell enough people and you tell the right people, you better be ready to do it, and you will do it. January 1, I was probably about 30 pounds heavier. I hadn't even started training yet. 12 weeks, I went into high train mode, lost about 25 pounds. I said, there's no way I'm going to be, carrying this. But I had nowhere to hide. I was out there in the middle of the crossroads of the world, really. After we got done with this, I heard there were over 200 million impressions that went worldwide to see what I had done that day. Real quick, before I answer that, what is the definition for performance? There's a question right there. I often ask individuals, and I learned this after my first world record attempt that I didn't achieve. I don't say fail. I very rarely use fail. I didn't achieve what I had set out to do, but I realized what the definition of performance was. Performance is this. Performance is nothing more than a moment of measurement. That is it. That's the initial mindset that I work with individuals on to realize. It's not about achieving, it's not about failing, it's about being prepared to measure yourself. Whether I was teaching a martial arts student or whether I was working with someone who was ready to take their performance to the next level, there are 4 components. There's 4 components. When I'm teaching someone how to throw a punch, or right now we'll just use board breaking for a moment, to break these boards, the first thing that we need to have is balance. When I'm working with individuals, create balance in your life and what it is that you want to do. Where's the balance lie? Who wakes up in the morning and says, boy, I want to feel balanced, and all of a sudden they're checking their email. They haven't even gotten out of bed yet. Anybody? I'm going to tell you right now, because that was me this morning. We're checking. I often got asked when I did the 1-minute world record break, if I didn't go through that 1 minute, they're like, well, what? I said, tell you right now, if I ever stopped in that 1 minute, it's because probably something broke, or there was no way that I was going to continue on. When I got into that mindset of what I was about to do to break those boards, you saw a shift in what happened. You saw a shift in the way I looked, you saw a shift in the way I acted, and all of a sudden, there was nothing until the finish line was hit. It was going to continue. I remained aligned with the direction that I was about to take, and nothing was going to knock me off of that. Same thing held through over the 24 hours. I just needed to sustain the mindset for that 24 hours. That's why I wanted it. If given a day, what could you achieve? It's what it's all about. If boards get broken, you'll see me do this. It'll just be relaxing a bit. A little bit of relaxing. Not very often I do this, and but it's just relaxed, balanced, and aligned. Now, again, why am I aligned? Because it's been practiced for years and years and years and honed. You know, alignment comes through honing the skill sets. But it's here, it's just relaxing and dropping right through, and then balance and here, and then here. Now that was going through. Thank you. So at the end of the day, and I saw that Kung Fu, I was going to call you right up here, okay, and say, let's go at it. Am I off again or on? Oh.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So, you know, here's the thing at the end of the day. From the world records that I've had the opportunity to perform, from being out there in front of the world, it's getting into companies and corporations and shifting the mindset about how we look at performance. If I could align it with anything, it would look like this. You ever walk down the grocery store and just look at that box of Wheaties and say, if I just had that, you know how great I would feel? Well, I can tell you this, it's not about what we take in and what we eat, but it is what we do up here. It's all about what's in the mind. Our competitive edge reveals itself the moment we realize our ambitions towards personal achievement are not found in front of us, but rather lives within us. We have what it takes. You have what it takes. Cultivate the skill sets that you're here for. They're within you. And believe me, you can achieve the things that have first felt impossible. Thank you.
I don't know if I want to shake his hand or not.